Happy Wednesday and welcome to another episode of Herspiration Happy Hour. Ladies, are you ready for some for some girl chat, for some for some cocktails and
Either way,
conversation
yes.
together? Are you ready for some cocktails and conversation?
Absolutely. We're ready for it all.
Yes. Okay, let's get it, Frank.
Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? With your host, the unapologetic diva, Dr. G, the girlfriend therapist, Dr. Cortina Lewis, the Blue Phoenix Heels, Louisa Harrell, and the networking extraordinaire, Diana Richardson Philippus. Are you ready for cocktails and conversation? This is Herspiration Happy Hour.
Woo, it's Wednesday, and I'll tell you, I feel like it should be Friday already, but it's not. Ladies, okay, well, let me start with this. This is your unapologetic diva, Dr. G.
This is Dr. Cortina Lewis, the girlfriend therapist.
This is the Blue Phoenix. Oh, go ahead.
And I am Shay Walker, the coach of courage.
Oh, I like that. And I am the Blue Phoenix, Louisa Harrell.
And Diana, hopefully she'll be joining us. She's having some technical difficulties getting on, but we hope to have her join on here. But, you know, she is the networking extraordinaire. So as I was saying, it's been a long week. Cortina barely remember her name. It's just Shay having a whole praise and worship prior to coming on here. How's your week? How's your week been thus far? Even though we're 3 days in and it feels like it's been 5.
That's the truth.
I'm about to say, child, yes. Mm-hmm.
Listen, the week has been weekend already. Okay.
Yeah.
Already.
You know what? And I'm traveling tomorrow and traveling again on Friday. Well, one by car, one by plane. I got car tag issues going on because I want to renew my tags for 1 year, not 2 years. And so now I physically go into the DMV to get them done. I just finished packing.
Yeah, that's because you usually go do 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to renew for 1 year, but I'll figure it out. But it's still not going to delay me too much from hopping on the road. But I have 2 destination stops tomorrow, so I have to drop Kofi off at my youngest sister's house. Who, happy birthday! It's her birthday today.
Oh,
so
happy birthday!
And so I'm gonna drop Kofi off there, and then I got to drive to my other sister's house, who lives a little bit closer to Atlanta. So then I only have about an hour and a half to drive to the airport on Friday morning, and I think our flight leaves at like 6 something. Yeah, I don't know what made me do. I know.
I tell you what, you let's take a drink break, okay? Because you stress me out. Let's. The cocktail today is called Last Word Cocktail.
She's freezing.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, because I went out the screen. I went to another screen, and I'm on my phone. That's why. So the ingredients for the last word cocktail, you need ice, fresh lime juice, gin, green chartreuse, maraschino liquor, and Luxardo, cherries, and a lime wedge or wheel for serving. Now, Luxardo cherries are like really, really dark cherries. I think. I don't know if they're sour or not though. So you take you fill a shaker with ice. You add lime juice, gin, chartreuse, and maraschino liquor. Cover and vigorously shake until outside the shake is very frosty. So that's about 30 seconds. Then you strain into a chilled coupe glass, garnish with the cherries and a lime wheel, and you drink it.
Okay. Well, you know what? Cheers to that, because I am having gin today.
I'm having tea because I don't know what's happening up in here with these children, but I'm not trying to get it.
No. So I'm gonna tell you the funny thing about this. I so happened to, while I was packing, downstairs. Because so not only am I packing like for the weekend, I have 3 different destinations that I need to pack for. So when I leave tomorrow, I won't be back home until like October 22nd. Yes. So it's going to be quite a long, and I'm going to be in multiple areas. So I was like, okay, I got to make sure I have this, make sure I have that. And in my travel, I was going through from when I last went to Aruba back in like June, and I found a little bottle of what is it? The Bombay Sapphire.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, I have me a drink for tonight. So I'm having I don't know what this is actually. I just know it's Bombay gin in it.
Cool.
I had a mushroom coffee, so yeah, it is
How
delicious.
is
It
that?
has been a game changer. It is absolutely delicious. Yes, it's by this company called Rise. It's RYZ.
Yeah, I see that.
Yes, it's delicious. And I make it with oat milk and I put some caramel drizzle in there and put it on ice. I got so addicted to drinking the ice instead of drinking hot, but I drank it hot yesterday and it was divine. And I got the best sleep last night from drinking it. Oh my God. But it's interesting. So if you drink it at night, it allows you to just kind of decompress and take a rest. But if you drink it first thing in the morning, it gives you a burst of energy. And so it's interesting, but it's been so good. Yeah, game changer.
I don't like mushroom, and I think that's why I stirred away from. When I see it online, I steer clear of that because I'm not a mushroom eater. I don't like the texture, so I don't eat the mushrooms. So I didn't.
It tastes like cocoa, like a cocoa powder, like a very soft, fluffy cocoa powder is the texture of it, and it smells like cocoa powder.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Then.
You won't be disappointed. I promise. The thought of drinking mushrooms in the morning, I was like, what? And so anyway, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And yeah.
Ever since you talked about it last, it keeps coming up on my feed. It's so funny. I had never seen it. And then when you talked about it when we were on here, I'm like, oh, this is what she was talking about.
Yeah.
Is that why I am seeing it a whole lot?
Yes, because I didn't see it until she talked about it, and now I see it all the time on my feed.
Yeah, these compete with technology, they're ear hustling.
They're listening.
But yeah, they are definitely listening.
Listening and harassing, because it's constantly on my feed.
And it's actually I feel like, where did I read somewhere? But anyway, it comes with this journal where it asks you about, to share your gratitude and what you're grateful for the day, or what spirit animal do you feel like today, or is there things that you need to overcome? It asks these triggering questions in the text message, and it goes and it keeps a roster in your personal journal. It's so cool. It's so cool. I love it. It's been worth it.
I don't even know what my spirit animal would be from day to day. Do you just literally name animals?
Yeah.
Cortina,
what do you feel like? Do you feel like a bird today?
So I and some people might think this is too deep, but because of the indigenous people, and that is a cultural thing, I don't want to culturally appropriate their spiritual practices. So one of the things that I don't do is, and this is just me personally, because you never know how people see things, and because that is something sacred to them and very serious when they talk about their type of spirit animals and things like that. So for the past maybe 2 years, I've just not wanted to offend, and that could be a really slippery slope, but just from working in some of the spaces and teaching and sharing how being culturally aware as a clinician, it's just something that I just stopped doing because I used to do it all the time.
So question for
Mhm.
you really quick. You took the DNA, right?
Mhm.
Did you come up indigenous at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But so because and the reason why, not for like things like this, but there are some people, you know how you can go on Facebook and they're like, what is your spirit animal and stuff like that. And for me, the spiritual practice, how they had it, has become so trivialized. I don't want to be a part of here. I don't think that is mocking, but the greater society kind of like really downplays and don't really educate themselves on the significance of why they had spirit animals and the place and, you know, how it came to be. So yeah, that's just something I just, because you never really know who's listening, and I just don't ever want to be one of those people to be like, they're mocking my culture or something that is extremely significant to us. So
Interesting. I
different spin.
now watch. I'm going to start seeing online all about spirit. You know, the spirit. I never see it. I'm telling you, I never see it. But
what each animal means in the net, you're definitely gonna start seeing it.
And let me just correct myself, because the question did not say what spirit animal do you feel like today. It actually said, what animal do you feel like today? I don't know why I said spirit, but maybe I'm coming down off my spiritual eye. But listen, today I feel like a deer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just feel like a deer today. Like,
what animal are you feeling like, Cortina?
A
Or
sloth.
a who?
A sloth.
Damn.
Girl, I feel you, because I was saying I feel like burrowing. I probably feel like a little groundhog. I just want to go under the cover.
I don't know what I feel like. I'm feeling real snailish right now because
it's something. I'm telling you, it's something in the air.
I'm dragging, and I feel like I'm behind on things, and mostly with packing. I'm still not even done packing. I have one suitcase packed. I need to pack my Miami bag, and then I need to finish packing all my undergarments for the rest of the time. So I'm just like, it's a lot. If I even told, I would exhaust y'all, and you all will understand why I feel like a snail today. If you realize, like, I have to drive down 9 hours to right outside of Savannah, and then drive to Warner Robins, Macon, and then drive to Atlanta, and then drive from Atlanta back down to Hinesville, that's where I'm going to spend time with my dad next week. I'm excited about that.
Good.
With my dad next week, and then I'm driving to Huntsville, and then I'm going to pounce between Huntsville and Atlanta, and then I have to be in Fayetteville for a TEDx panel that I'm hosting, and then driving back to Huntsville, and then we're going to Nashville to do Dine in the Dark. So Jay flies in the last week that I'm here, and then we'll drive back together on the 22nd back to Maryland. So I'm already tired just thinking about it, because that's my entire October. So by the time I get back, it's like I'm less than 5 months from the wedding. And you know, by the time I get back, I have my birthday coming up. I have another event coming up right after that. My bridal shower is coming up. And then it's Thanksgiving. No, then right after the bridal shower, Cortina, I'm there for the classics. Let me take that back. I'm not there for the classics. I'm there. I have a conference that I'm speaking at, but it so happened to fall the same weekend of the classics. So I will be in Orlando for a couple of days, and then I won't slow down until after that, like around Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm pretty much
that's the time, right? When we take our break in December.
Yeah, we take our break in December, and then we even have a podcast on my birthday.
Oh,
and we have a guest. So it's gonna be wild. I don't know if I'm gonna show up.
Take a tip. Real quick.
I don't know if I'm gonna show up on my birthday. I'm already giving y'all the disclaimer. I don't know. I mean, we have a guest, y'all can manage, but I'm like, no. Yeah, so you know, Cortina, and you're getting ready to graduate.
Yes.
Even though you
From my PhD
This is
program, it's the graduation. I've been done. I've been done a year ago, but September 22nd was the actual day I defended. So that was
this year?
last year.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
So last Friday made a year that I defended and technically was able to call myself a doctor, but we're actually being hooded and the whole pomp and circumstance and all of that next week.
Okay.
Well, all right then.
I'm super mad that I can't attend.
So I'm so excited. I can't
I'm
wait.
just missing everything. You have something, I'm busy. I'm like, what in the world? And I can't
It's
even
life. It's life.
I know, but I can't, and I definitely can't miss next weekend. One, I'm going to see Maxwell. Not this weekend, next weekend. And then
okay.
yeah, I picked up my wedding dress.
Yes, that's
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
and I got all my stuff, honey. I've been had my shoes. I absolutely love them. Can I show the shoes? Because they're so cute. Oh my goodness.
You can show the
I
shoes.
cannot wait to after the wedding so I can just actually wear them around. Can you see the jewels on this shoe? So, it's a beach wedding. It's not my wedding. It's Pam's wedding, but I feel like it's mine. So, the jewels are so
Those are cute.
pretty.
They
When
are
I
so
tell you
pretty.
they look so cute on, they are absolutely gorgeous. And I cannot wait to see them on with the dress. And dress debacle. So, y'all, I ordered my dress. I don't know. Something made me look. I said periwinkle. What up? I said, oh no, I done ordered the wrong color. So I thought because I hadn't received it yet, they would be able just to change the color. So I emailed the company, no, honey. I had to order a whole new dress. Now, mind you, it takes weeks for this dress to come in. So I had to go on and reorder a dress. I knew when we were on one night, and I was like, I can't tell Pam. So I waited a few days. I waited a few days. I said, Pam, this is going. She said, if you need me to call. But the lady was emailing me and she was like, I'm sorry, we can't. Once it's I was like, but y'all still have it. Like, just go in the system. In my mind, like, go in the system, change the color. I'm not trying to change the size or anything. I just need royal blue. No, child, they made me cancel the entire order and have to re-order again. So now my dress will be getting here December 10th.
Well, it's still not as long as it took my dress. I ordered.
That's a wedding dress. So
I know. I ordered my dress April 1st, and it came about a month ago. But I'm not in Huntsville to get it, so I'll be picking my dress up next weekend. It's going to be a whole thing because I'm going to have my hair done. I'm going to have my makeup done. And I'm going to wear my shoes because I need to see aesthetically to make sure that everything kind of jives. So,
and then how it falls and how tall.
Oh, yeah. But then I also need to figure out how I'm going to wear my hair. I don't know if I'm going to wear it curly or if I'm going to wear it straight. So the only way to know is because I get my hair straightened once, maybe twice a year, and I haven't had it straightened all year since December last year. So I'm going to have my hair straightened, and then I'm going to put my dress on with my hair straight. And then when I bought it, my hair was curly. So I have two pictures of how my, dress, my dress will be with my hair curly or with my hair straight. What's up, Miss Diana?
Hello, just had to take some security measures for myself today to make sure everything was right on my end.
Why are you sitting in the dark though?
I'm really not in the dark. I'm just in another location. So y'all pardon me. Continue on. I'll get myself together. Continue on. Hi, ladies.
Hey, Diana.
No, Cortina was sharing her dress debacle with the wedding that she ordered the wrong color on accident.
Yes.
What color is it?
Royal blue, but I ordered periwinkle. It's a purple. I don't even know how that came about. I know for sure I clicked the right button.
Did you just ask what is the right color?
Oh. Royal blue.
No. Oh, no.
It's two
Flag
blues
on the
on
plate.
there. It's two blues, so you got to be careful with the blue.
Did
So
you
it's the
see her
darker
pick
blue.
up that glass?
Wait a minute. Wait a
Diana,
minute.
why
Wait
you
a minute.
come through here starting stuff?
I'm
Why
not.
you come
I
over
get
here
confused
starting stuff?
sometimes. I just get confused. That's all. I told y'all continue
He
on.
was
Don't pay me
asking
no
me stuff
attention.
today. So me and her having a conversation today.
Shit.
And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, did you not read the newsletter? I sent out a whole newsletter.
You talking about the shoes
No.
situation? Oh.
What were you? I don't think. No, it was the shadow, the eyeshadow, the choice of eyeshadow. So here's the thing: the weird part, when you're wedding planning, you're trying to get everything done. So my makeup artist has kind of been like MIA. I haven't heard from her, so I've been looking for another one, and I'm waiting to hear back from her, and just see what's going on with that. So once she sends me that, I'll determine whether we're gonna all be doing our own makeup, or if she's gonna come do makeup for us. I'm not opposed to doing my own makeup, even though everybody is saying, don't do your own makeup. I'm like,
No, it's pictures. It's your wedding day. Go ahead, get the glam.
I have someone absolutely amazing that will come through. She is amazing.
well,
Dynamite.
because it matters with price at this point. Because I had a
I
good
promise you, no, she's a sponge right now. So she's open. And especially if I say, hey, this is an assignment, she got you.
okay. So
Let me know.
and the good thing is you're right. You're not far.
And she's maybe 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah, you're actually not far because you're in Tampa. You're already sitting on the coast side. Tell you, but it is just, this is why. Here's why. When you're making these deposits, and here's for any bride to bees and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to drop a little knowledge because I'm in these different bridal groups and I'm seeing all kinds of stuff. I know. So I tell anytime any of my vendors or basically my vendors, and I wanted all black. That was non-negotiable for me. I wanted all black vendors. And one thing I wasn't doing, I was not paying Cash App or Zelle. I was not paying via a mechanism. I cannot get my money back if something falls through. You don't show up. I don't have the bandwidth for that. Even if I have to pay the fee, give me the fee to secure my money. Because I have seen horror stories out there, and I recently, not long ago, just dealt with that on a different business level where I had to dispute the charge on my credit card for services that didn't happen. I'll say that, or wasn't up to par. They was very, and I was like, let me just be upfront with it. You owe me some money back. And she fell off the map. Called my credit card company. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
And disputed it. But I mean, that's something that, so when even as a business owner, unless I'm out vending, I don't say Zelle me. I'm never one of those. Now, if you want to pay that way, I try to deter you. I'm like, let me invoice you and you pay through the invoice. I don't care if you choose PayPal, Stripe, whatever floats your boat, but I don't like having to accept Cash App and Zelle payments as a service providing business, because I don't practice that. So I don't know how you ladies feel. I mean, no matter what you do, that's how I feel. I have to secure my funds.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
No, I have an accounting system.
Yeah, I agree. I invoice everything.
Say what? Say what, Diane?
I agree. I invoice everything.
Yeah, I have an accounting system for that. I don't. No. No. I frown when somebody, but can I Cash App you? No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Yeah.
Well, let me
tax purposes
Cash App.
too. Tax purposes, when you use your invoicing system at the end of the year, when it's time to do your thing with the IRS, you're able to just go and pull the record. It's easy peasy. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I use Square, and Square works just fine for me. I don't mind the fee because they're handling the accounting, so I don't mind paying the fee or them taking their little fee out. I don't.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you know what? Those fees I put right back on my income tax. Like, hey,
yeah, right, exactly. It's a write-off. It is, especially when you're a lot of, like, you don't even understand the nature of when you have, and I just learned this from my business mentor with having the nonprofit now, all of the expenses and knowing how to, change things. I was able to transition my vehicle since I bought a new car. I moved it from my personal name and put it in the nonprofit. Like these are all things that you can take advantage of as a business owner, especially when you have a nonprofit. So
Yeah, no, I'm not moving my vehicle to my nonprofit. It's too that belongs to my other company. I'm always on the go for my actual business. So I am not going to justify the need for that, but I can just charge mileage if necessary. But no, nope, nope, and nope. Can't do it. Speaking of now, talking about money and all of these things, of course, one of the things we want to talk about is like our worth. I mean, and that think that holds some value. And by worth is like when you, especially business owners, it's the conversation with all the strikes. So ain't shit on TV unless you want to watch Tubi. I miss my television
or
show.
Peacock.
Say what?
I said, or Peacock.
Well, Peacock they still have regular shows. Like I literally miss my shows. And so with the writer strike and the actor strike and all of those things, people don't really understand the value of someone's craft. And so I'm just like, pay these people their worth, pay them their royalties or whatever they're asking for, because we need some TV. You hear me? NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. I mean, there is nothing on television. I miss my Chicago Fires. I done marathon. Yeah, my Chicago's, all my Chicago PD, Med, and Fire. I like my Station 19. I got into Grey's Anatomy and literally over the summer binged 19 seasons.
Oh, that's my husband's shows. He likes the Station 19s. And I used to be a Grey's Anatomy fan for a really long time. But when they killed McDreamy off.
Oh, Lord.
I was really upset.
He comes back. And then, you know what? So what I'm wondering is if I will like it now that Meredith is gone.
You didn't like Meredith?
Meredith was the show.
She was the whole show. Meredith.
What do you mean if you don't like it now? Where is she? I don't watch it. What happened?
Well, you need to watch it.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
Did they kill her off?
No,
they didn't kill her off. No, but they got all these new people, and I'm like, the dynamic is different. I'm tired of them killing characters and whatnot. I'm like, oh. So when Meredith went off, I was like, okay, but she was in the season finale in 19. But I don't know if she's
seeing something, and she was like walking on the beach, and
that's what she was with her when she got to, was talking to her husband.
Did anybody get into A Million Little Things?
Girl, and you know what? First of all, I was binging that. I was already watching that regularly. That is like my show. And so that actually went off air. That's completely done. And I was so upset because had I had known that, if it would have ended, I would have.
Yes.
I would have binged that later on. It's a great show. I highly recommend it.
It was a great show. I don't really watch TV that much. And when I do, what I hate is when I watch TV, I get into something, then the show, it gets, whatever they call it.
Canceled?
Yeah.
Some things don't cancel. It just has a season finale. And I think I felt that way with, oh my gosh. Well, I felt that way with A Million Little Things. And then what's the This Is Us?
Oh yeah, that's another one.
And then recently with the passing of Ron Cephas Jones, that was like so heartbreaking for me because he was an amazing actor and so super humble and so down to earth. And I'm just like, oh, Cortina, what do you watch? Do you even have time to watch TV?
Not really, but when I do, I watch The Chi. I watch.
Yeah. Well, that's on right now.
Yeah.
Is it?
But I had to catch up with my husband. This was like a few years ago. He made me watch it from the beginning. And because he always watched it and I could never get into it, then I got into it. So that's our show that we watched together. Anything on ID channel. That's what I binge watch. I can watch it all night when I do watch TV. So like Nightmare Next Door. Yeah. Yeah. Wives with Knives.
Not wives for knives, child. Not wives for knives. Damn
Nightmare
it.
Next Door, Blood Relatives, all the shows. I don't know. Like,
What's happening?
I
You
love.
like Snap?
No, not really, because now I don't like the way that they produce it. I like the shows on ID channel, not necessarily on Oxygen. So I don't really like the way they produce the show, because I'm all about how it's produced and everything like that. So I really like to see it relived and the actors pretending like they actually the characters, and then they see like the real pictures at the end. So like when I watch Women Who Kill, like they have like 3 stories in one, and they actually have like I know.
Girl, you and my mama would get along so well.
My husband be like,
shows
So
all
do you watch
day
Cheaters?
long.
Do you watch Cheaters?
No, that shit
no,
pissed me
it's
off.
Now I'm
different.
call my mama out. My mom, she'll go to sleep to Law and Order. She'll go to sleep to Cheaters. I mean, and it just runs, or her judge shows. Like that's her thing. But I'm just like, so whenever I'm visiting her, it's like Cheaters. It's hard to. It's like something that is so terrible, but you can't stop watching.
Well,
What's
that
like-
new one, Caught in the Act with Tammy Roman.
Oh,
Now,
I
I do watch that, and it is pretty good. It is pretty good, I will say.
haven't
I
seen
do.
it.
I
Caught
don't
in the
watch
Act?
TV, but I watch the Love and Hip Hops and the Housewives,
I'll watch that.
and
I
that's
mean,
it. And the news
if I'm
here
with
and
my
there.
mom, then I'll catch up on stuff. My mom had got me into Sisters, so I haven't watched it lately because they're, with the whole writing strike. I don't want to watch something then it goes away, because we don't know how much longer. Even though from what I've heard that there's negotiations, but then there's still a portion of the actors strike, I believe, that's still going on. I'm like, somebody just pay these people. And speaking of, as a writer, let me tell you, if you even go to my website, I'm very transparent about my fees. And they're a combination of just not only just my experience in writing, but I am giving away intellectual property. That's like the number one thing. All of these writers of these shows are giving themselves away, that's helping these networks monetize. So when it comes to your worth, it's like, what does that really look like for you? I mean, Cortina, you're a therapist. If somebody say, well, your fees are too high, it's like, you didn't go to school not to be able to provide a
You're right.
service.
I'm like, well, you need to find. I don't say it like this, but well, this service is not for you. I'm sure there are some more economical therapists that will be able to provide you the services that fit your need.
So you know what? So when me and Jay was going to, starting to look at couples counseling, and before we actually went, there was somebody who was like, for 45 minutes wanted to charge $250. So, and I'm a former person that was like my background. I'm like, what the are you providing for $250 for 45 minutes?
Yeah, that's my first session. That's how much it is.
No, no.
Mm-hmm.
People
pay it too.
How much is the other sessions?
It depends. If it's couples, $185. If it's
That's reasonable.
But it depends on where you are too. You have some people that charge $300 per session in New York and California. So it really just depends on the demographic. So one of the things that you want to do is like not outprice yourself, but also not under cut like where you are.
And the first sessions are usually more anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe
And then a lot of people, they don't accept insurance either. So
you want to know why? Because it's a pain in the damn ass.
That's
and they
why
I pay, and the reimbursement rates are trash.
Yeah.
That's why I left. When I was going to school, so I have my master's in health service administration because I wanted to do private practice and I needed to understand all of the HMOs, PPOs, and insurance. By the time I got done with all of the legal aspects of healthcare, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be broke if I go through the insurance companies. And back then, it was so taboo for people to go to therapy. I would have been broke regardless. So I'm like, nope, I don't like people that much to hear about their problems. I'm already hearing about these problems working with the military. What? I'm just being honest. and people wasn't showing up like they're showing up now. This is a very different climate for therapy. There are companies supporting it. The military is actually supporting it, so they're paying therapists, or kind of more of what their worth is, but also therapists have an opportunity to do fee for service. Trying to do fee for service back in like 2001, 2002 wasn't really where it was at, not in the communities that I was in. And so I had to make a decision. Is this something that I want to do, or is this something that I don't? Because I was in a dual master's program. I was in a master's program for marriage and family therapy, and then I was in one for health service administration. I was like, okay, 6 classes in, I'm good. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to have to deal with people. But I think also the military burned me out. I'm still very passionate about it. But I think because I started out working with kids during my intern time after I graduated with my bachelor's, I'm like, kudos to people who can just sit here and listen to people who are mandated. See, I had dealt with mandated people to come and see me. So it's like, no. You have mandated people to see you, Cortina, or just people who come to you?
No.
Yeah. It's a different. It gives you a different perspective of the field. And then when you got to go through the insurance companies, it is not even worth it, because you're probably making about 30% of what you would have made.
Yeah, it really depends. And then the level of your training, because that has a lot on how people structure their fees as well.
Yeah.
Like if you specialize in maternal mental health, that's a specialty, right? And so because it's not a lot of them who specialize in it, they can charge a totally different fee than maybe somebody who specializes in trauma. I hope all therapists know how to deal with trauma. You're a therapist. That's just like basic. Whereas sex therapists, they might be able to charge a little bit higher people who do EMDR or biofeedback. So again, it depends. It's so many different factors that go into how people set up their fees. Some people balance it out because they may take insurance, but they have a certain percentage that are cash pay and a certain percentage that are insurance, because if none of us take insurance, there's going to be a huge gap in access to care that you cannot make up because people just don't have the resources. So some people, they do both, and where the insurance is lower, they can make it up with their private pay patients and individuals. So it just depends on what model works for you as a clinician. Now, there are some people who do have mandated individuals. Some people I know, because if they want to get their license back, guess what? You ain't got no choice. You have to. You have to. So even though they're private pay, they're not court mandated, but a lot of them, they go and they pay the money because you're not fighting with anybody else. Because when I see you, you have to pay me. And if you want your license back, guess what? You have to come to these services. So it's almost like you're still going to get paid. So if the patient sit there and say nothing,
and you still getting paid. That's how I feel as a college professor. I'm like, you don't have to show up, Diana, because you're in a whole different field, because you do a lot of pop-up shops. So I think what I want, I mean, you and I, we do events. I don't think people really understand what the investment looks like from your end when they say, oh, it's too much, or what am I getting? Or so when you're putting together a pop-up shop,
pop-up, workshop, seminar, conference.
Yeah. So give people a little bit of background on why, it's like pricing yourself is important so that you don't take a loss, or they don't take a loss.
Or not even that, but, even in terms of like my business coaching. But just to stay in line with what your first comment was in terms of my pop-up, I do get some feedback, with some vendors, like, your pop-up shops, your pop-up expos are a little bit more pricier than, some of the other ones. Well, and I have to let them know that, well, one, I put you in premier spaces. That's one, that are not cheap. I pay over $5,000 per each experience. And I can't say that each time I do it, I am getting my ROI. not every time. So, I'm already sometimes at a deficit in that way. And I give a lot. They're getting tables, they're getting exposure, they're getting covers, they're getting chairs, they're getting a lot. They're getting coaching during this time, they're getting mentoring. I'm helping them to make money. And I think that sometimes a lot of vendors do not understand that. And it's so funny that you said that, because I just had a conversation just Sunday with one of my vendors, because I just had an event, a 3-day event this weekend, and we were talking about the difference between a vendor and an exhibitor.
Oh,
Because there is a big difference between the two. Vendors are just, all they want to do is make money. They don't, it doesn't matter if their product is for shit. And I'm not saying that to be facetious. I'm not, because I do try and vet, to make sure I like top-notch vendors and exhibitors. Don't get me wrong, but the vendor mentality really isn't about getting their brand out to the masses, or learning how to scale and just making that investment just to put themselves in a room, for future clientele. They just want to make some money. Whereas exhibitors are in it for the long haul. They're in it because they really want to build and scale, or should I say strategize, scale, and succeed. Is, that's one of my coaching.
and build their network.
Exactly.
It's not about making money for an exhibitor. It's about making connections.
It's about making that connection and building their brand base. And they're my favorite. I mean, I love them all, don't get me wrong, but they're my favorite because they're there for the long haul. And, and exhibitors, they will pay top-notch money because they understand.
Yes.
They understand. So
you use my favorite word, experience. I always try to encourage anyone, when you do something, do it in excellence.
Amen.
Do it in excellence, because this is an experience. And I firmly believe in just paying people, hey, listen, if this is your number, I feel like it's disrespectful to try to negotiate
come on,
someone's price. If this is your fee, I feel like it's absolutely disrespectful to try to negotiate the fee, especially with us, because you will quickly go out and invest in something that gives you nothing back, absolutely nothing back, just to say you have it, just to say you're wearing it. And they don't know it's our people. It's like our people will come and to say, hey, I'm here to support you, but can I get a family discount? Can I get 50%? And then it's that, and not even that they even ask, they actually show up with an expectation that you're supposed to discount it. And here is my thing. I have a love language. I respect you. My love language is respect. So if this is your fee, I respect you and love you enough to feel confident in pouring into you. I'm going to invest in you if I love you. I respect what your price is. And I feel like that's a form of love. Like, we need to learn love language. We need to know how to identify and really show up and support the people we say we care about. If you're showing up, I have an expectation. I do. I absolutely
learn a business language.
Yes.
And that is not suggesting that Black means discount, that Black means devalue, that and so I mean, people, granted, what is it, Black Friday? You would never see me. And I've had people say, are you going to have a Black Friday sale? No. You don't see Louis Vuitton having no Black Friday sale, but you still see people sporting those bags. You don't see Gucci having one. So why is the expectation that I need to have one? Why is it an expectation that any Black business has to be discounted? That I feel like that sits right up there with, that I sound like I talk.
Black Friday has anything to do with Black businesses.
Oh, it has anything to do with Black businesses. I wasn't saying that.
I'm
saying that people would say, am I going to have one? And my thing is, absolutely not. You don't see these other prominent brands having one. Are you going into Louis Vuitton saying, are you having a Black Friday sale? Hell no, but you want to come and ask me. I mean, but that's
I'm
around,
sorry.
that's across the board, is that in the is the with and that is the fact that what is suggested as black, anything black, whether it's business or people, is suggested to not have value. That's my issue.
Show me. I want somebody. And I'll never forget this. Show me a Lamborghini commercial.
You won't
Show
see it.
me a Maybach
Mm.
commercial.
You don't see that.
Show me a Rolls Royce commercial.
You're not gonna see that.
Okay. And so guess what? I'm just not for everybody.
Period.
Period. And
And
I'm
that's
good with
okay.
that. I'm good with that. I would rather have quality over quantity any day. I'm not going to like devalue myself to rise to where you are. I'm not going to conform to this. I'm just not going to conform to it. If my fee is $27,000, then guess what? I don't have an expectation for 1,000 people to show up for that.
Right.
The 100 people that are drawn to that's for them.
And that's
But
the
I'm good
serious
being
people.
right there.
People who are serious about investing in themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
That's so true. I think that people who, and this might sound crass, and I'm not being offensive, but given my experience, and you do coaching too, Diana, so you have to deal with people's unrealistic expectations. So when I'm doing business coaching, especially when I am working with people on their business plan, I think people don't understand what investing in themselves actually look like.
Mhm.
It's like, don't go into business if you're not really ready to spend the money. And if you spend cheap, you end up spending more making those corrections.
Mhm.
So
And also, and when you spend it, be prepared to do the work. Because I do find that, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time with my clients who hopefully they're not listening, but not y'all. Okay, not y'all. But there are times when you may have a client who they're willing to put the money up, but they want you to do all of the work. And it just simply doesn't work like that. I'm here to guide and assist.
Yeah.
Not to put your whole business together for you, because if I do it, it may as well be mine.
There's
that's kind of like
behind your dollar. There's an accountability, a level of accountability that comes behind your investment. You can't have an expectation to just go pay a fee and boom, voila, the business is up and running and thriving and you just living and vibing. No, it is an investment and you protect what? Your investment.
Yeah. Louisa, you were saying?
No, I was responding to Diana. That attitude is kind of all over the board in any career or any aspect of anything, because we kind of deal with that in production. We come in or we meet and get an idea. We do a board or vision board or whatever, which you want us to film. And they still we get there and they act like we're supposed to tell them what to do. We're supposed to do it. This is your video. This is your advertisement. If this is what you want, we're not supposed to do it for you. So it's kind of like that attitude all over the board.
Yeah. It's just that that frustrates me. That's like a little pet peeve of mine. I don't like it, because I too, I have had coaches. I tell my clients, I too invest in a coach for myself, and I'm not expecting them to do the work for me. You get in, or you get out rather, what you put in, and your energy matters. I just had a client today. I was talking to him. I'm like, hey, I need for you to get your energy up. Like, get your energy up, because it matters. If you're, I don't do that on the phone. Like, I'm gonna need for you to pull that one up, get your mind right, and get to work.
You know what? So speaking of, and Cortina, you tell me, well, all of you share this. I think in some ways, all of us, anytime you have to show up when you're not in the mood, you have to become a very great actor.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do, because on any day, you can be tired, right? I always get in my mind that I'm dealing with people's lives. They are entrusting me with their story. So, and this probably only happens when I'm doing therapy. I'm very intentional about that. And whatever it is, I don't care if I have a headache, if whatever it is that I am doing, I put it on the shelf until that session is over. If I absolutely cannot like do it because I'm feeling sick or something like that, I will cancel. Anytime I have to cancel a session or rearrange it or whatever, I will give the patient, like if it's an inconvenience for them, half off their session. Why? Because if they cancel their session, they get charged the full fee. And so it's not fair for me one way to, not show up and then just expect for them to be like, oh, okay, I missed my session, right? Emergencies happen, but I have to be really sick in order for me to like shut down, not see patients or something like that. But I work very hard to push out, because in those sessions, it's not about me or what I have going on and my energy level or anything like that. It's like, okay, I'm here for the patient. I'm here to hold space for whatever it is that they need from me in that moment during that time. And so I honor that by being present, because if I'm not present emotionally, I could potentially miss something that could be a portal to them being able to have an aha moment in session. So that's how I do it. I'm like, okay.
But it's still turning, you have to turn something on. And then for a moment, just like, let me step.
I just cast something aside. Myself, I decrease so that my ability to serve them increases.
Yeah. It's like even when I'm like speaking, and I can be extremely nervous. Like I've been on the news, and I tell you what, before then I'm so nauseated, I'm about to throw up. And then I get on the camera and I'm like, okay, let me do this because I have to do this. And I can't be overly nervous. And so people don't notice it, but I am super nervous, but I have to go into performance mode in that moment to come in, and I don't know a better way to say it, but I mean, I've taken acting classes to make myself a better speaker, because you have to step outside and zone out in those moments that, and it was recommended, by the way. It was like, to be a really efficient speaker, if you take acting lessons, you're able to mix and mingle with different audiences and show up in ways that's going to be presented a certain way. So I'm like that. Depending on the crowd, I know how to show up. I know how to go in my toolbox and say, I'm not in the mood, but I have to show up for this. Here's the audience for it. But you almost have to. But that goes into your worth. Those things and those investments is why I can charge what I charge when I'm speaking, because I'm like, I done took all kind of, professional courses and training to make myself more efficient. I've invested in myself, and some people really, like you say, Diana, don't really know what that actually looks like. So, and we got a few minutes left, and within like just 30 seconds each, I just want to, when somebody is price pointing themselves, to say, here's how I should price myself by my abilities and what that should look like in each one of your prospective fields. What kind of guidance would you give to people when it comes to pricing themselves their worth in terms of value? Cortina, I'll start with you.
I would say, so as a therapist, there's research that goes into it. You have CEUs that you have to get every year to maintain your licensure. There is malpractice insurance. You also have to get liability insurance. You need to make sure that all of these things are covered. And so those are not things that patients can see. So when you are setting your prices, you need to be able to incorporate those overhead costs that patients do not see. They really think that they're coming to pay a certain fee just to sit in front of you for 45 to 55 minutes. But there's so much more that goes into you being able to be prepared for that session that they don't see. So don't undercut yourself by saying, okay, I need to make this amount of money to be able to live the way that I need to live. You need to be able to incorporate all of those other costs that you might not see. So different certifications, different training, CEUs, you have to pay professional organizations that you are a part of. And so those are the things that I would say that a lot of people undercut themselves by doing that. You have the EHR the platform that you use, because it has to be HIPAA compliant. You need to make sure that all of those billing companies that you might contract with, if you use a billing company to submit bills and everything like that. So that is so much stuff that the outside person doesn't see as it relates to us preparing and being knowledgeable, being licensed, being certified, as it relates to us seeing patients. So take those things into consideration. It's not just about the time you spend in front of the client. It is about the time you also take preparing to be able to serve that client.
And let's not even talk about taking notes afterwards. Shay, you're next. What would you say in your perspective field?
Everything that Cortina said. And in addition to that, so because I deal a lot with insurance, I always use cross-reference as well to what's going on in the areas, like what other people, what their fees are, like what the going rates are for this particular thing, right? And but then I also think about the value that, in addition to that, what it is that I'm adding to all of that. And then that's how, so I look at the time I'm going to be spending. For instance, like Cortina said, her fee is $185 for a 45-minute session. Well, you incorporate everything that she said, but on top of that, like I said, I like to think about the things that I add. Like if you come to me for an accountability coaching session, I think about the time I'm going to be spending creating what I'm going based on what it is that you're giving me. I'm creating a formula to give back to you, to hold you accountable, something interactive. Check-ins, the time it takes for me to check in with you. I'm doing daily check-ins a couple of times a day. During the week, you have an assignment. So I'm incorporating time. I think about time, and I think about all the things that I use to provide the service that I provide as well.
Okay. What about you, Diana? Almost forgot your name, honey.
Well, please don't do that. It should be quite unforgettable. Just call me Princess Diana, in case you just think about the princess. That's all you got to do.
I'll go with Dirty
Diana.
Diana.
Right, girl.
Look, I'll go with Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson. But come on.
You can, hey, that one, that whatever works, because she, hey. I will just say very quickly, I have two different ways. One is through my experiences via the pop-ups and the conferences and things of that nature, and then of course there's my coaching. So again, with my pop-up experiences, yes, we are definitely looking at the time that it takes me to scout, procure, and pay for these environments to put people into, which is no small feat. And not even that, but just, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix my ring light at the same time, y'all, so I'm not in the dark, so I'm not in trouble today. Just being in that environment and the networking opportunity that I provide within that space, because there are networking opportunities that I do. I coach as I'm doing the pop-ups. I teach them how to make money. And I'm just going to give y'all one little, because I always do, it makes me feel good when they be like, oh, so this weekend, a vendor, wonderful product. I'm not going to call her out, because if she was looking, she would know who I'm talking about. She's sitting over there on her phone. That's a pet peeve of mine. You're in a prime location, and you're on your phone. It was two of them, actually. I walked over, because I stayed the entire weekend, and I said, I'm going to need for you to put your phones down, to come from behind your tables, and to get engaged with the customers. Before she left that day, she came over to me. She was like, I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much, for telling me that and for helping me. I've made over $500. I'm $20 away from my goal for the day. I said, wonderful. She left about an hour and a half later. She was already like at $700 one day. She more than met her return on investment. You understand what I'm saying? And it's little moments like that that really make me happy. That's one. Then two, with the coaching, look, when you coach with me, you're leaving better than what you came. So my price is my price. Period, point blank. If you want this knowledge and you want this game, it's not free. It's just not free. It really isn't. You know, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to ride it out with you. I'm going to give you everything that I have, and I'm going to make sure that you get your money's worth. So that's why I'm able to charge what I charge, because I'm just that confident, and I haven't gotten any complaints in that arena.
Amen. Amen. So, Louisa, what about you? What can you contribute here in terms of?
Well, I agree with what everyone said, on top of the fact that your live experience is another thing. You don't do what you do just from doing it yesterday. It took time to develop and build your skill on top of, like everyone said, schooling, the CEUs, just extra things. And I'm in a couple of different fields. So, yeah, I'm actually getting ready to graduate tomorrow for 3 years in one particular field. So it's like, we are constantly developing ourselves and developing these skills. And so you have to charge for these things. So, like Diana said, the price is the price, and pay it or don't,
Yeah, I think for me, the only thing that I would say is my writing is my craft. No matter what I'm doing, at the end of the day, that, and I always tell people, business consulting, you can go to someone who is inexperienced, or you can actually come to an MBA professor who actually practice, who studies business, who practice business, who stays in that business field, because that's me. I'm not going to shortchange myself for the doctorate that I got in management, and especially dealing with organizations, because I did specialize in a specific field and a market. But anybody, I go back to anybody who writes is giving up a lot for themselves, especially ghostwriters. You have a responsibility to pay for what does not belong to you, that you are claiming to be yours. Just say that off the cuff. So there is value in that. And I understand the whole AI and all of that stuff, but let me tell you something, your writing has a voice. And your voice changes, and AI has not adopted that unless you're using it enough and you're putting enough parameters in to be able to dictate that. I just did a whole session on AI when I was in Ohio, so that people can understand the tools and the right way to utilize AI. So as a writer, I don't like it because I'm extremely creative, but I honed my craft for a reason. And so I mark my prices in the same way that for the education, for the intellectual property that I'm giving up, and for my time and for my experience. I was writing for the Hill, the federal government Hill. Why do you think that I would technical write for nothing? So, we have to get into if you're in business and you want to be a good business, or you want help or assistance, you have to be able and ready to pay it. And if you can't, save for it. That's the only thing that I can say. But we are going to head on out. It has been a great time, ladies. Any last words before we just go ahead and pop on out of here? And we'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. Anybody last words?
Have a great night.
All righty. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is Herspiration.